Bears is going to the Super Bowl, bro, and we're winning that. And I don't give a fuck what nobody say. We're going 17-0. Nobody's touching us. Caleb Williams is Patrick Mahomes times 10, 2.0, 10.0, whatever you want to put it. We are winning it all.
I hate that you guys want to set yourself up for so much disappointment.
We're winning it all.
Hey,
hot take.
I'm putting in all this work in the all season. All season. So I can dominate all season. Putting in work in the all season. All season. So I can dominate all season. Putting in work in the all season. All season.
NBA is just it's the highest level for sure, and it is gonna show in this Olympic series. So we could put that to rest, that conversation of
I don't even think it was a conversation.
Yeah, people were saying people saying the Europeans or taking over the NBA. Like, nah, bro, it's not that.
Yeah, you got good Europeans.
You got 5 best players are good, but then you got to think everybody else, every other position is like, no, it's not. It's not competing by no chance at all. So
it's a team game, Yeah, I think. In MVP voting, the top 3 people in MVP voting, maybe even top 5, were all foreign-born players, right? You had SGA, Luka Doncic, Jokic, Giannis, and Joel Embiid, right? All foreign-born. But like you said, you got to put 4 guys around those dudes, and they're all from a different country.
Okay.
Now imagine you got Giannis and Jokic on the same team.
Yeah.
Could 2 of them together maybe make up that difference? Maybe a little closer. But when Giannis's best teammate is his brother.
So what do you think though? Like, let's construct a 5-man roster of the best foreign players versus the 5 best. We could take the 5
who's
best.
winning?
Who's winning? Who do you think wins? Do you think the 5 best, not from a country, but the 5 best from across the world? You put 5 of the best players against the best 5 USA players.
And you're talking about specific. I mean, obviously they would be in the NBA. The 5 best foreign players would be from the NBA.
Yeah. Typically. We wouldn't know about them, but just the people that we would know. Yeah, the NBA players. Like, do you think that team of a Giannis, a Jokic, Gil Alexander, like if
Luka
you confront,
Doncic.
Luka, like 5 of them, do you think who wins that game?
That's a hell of a game right there, man. Who would your 5 be? I'm gonna throw out a few names. You got SGA, Doncic, maybe the guard positions.
You got Luka at the point, maybe.
Get the point. SGA at the 2. We got Giannis at the 3.
4.
Actually, now when I'm really thinking about it, their size will be like crazy dominant. Because even if you add Wembanyama in there,
But you still have to play defense. You still have
that's Rudy Gobert.
No. What happened to Rudy Gobert? He's supposed to be a great defender. He's getting gained in the playoffs. Like, I'm not too concerned. But you still have to have guys that are gonna guard KD. You got to guard LeBron. You got to guard Booker, you got to guard Curry, you have to play defense still. Like, so if you have Wemby, Giannis, Luka, like, you got all these slow guys that Luka wasn't playing no defense this year. So you got guys who aren't playing defense. They're offensively skilled and they have the size, but can you play defense? That's going to be the question for the European team or the foreign team is like, are they going to be able to play defense? Because we have the bigs, we got Bam, we got Anthony Davis, you know what I mean? So we got Joel, so we got the bigs to match their bigs, but do they have the guard play to match our guard play? I think that'll probably be the separation, in my opinion.
The individual matchups. It'll be a fun one for sure. The positional versatility, the positional size. You're gonna have 6'10" guys bringing up the ball, and that in itself is today's basketball in a nutshell.
They should do it. I think maybe the All-Star game. That's 2 things that I think the All-Star game should have. They should have one-on-ones. I think that'll be cool, and then maybe World versus USA. Like, it kind of like, because they're not going to play hard.
But I think we had a point. Well, but then again, that would probably leave so many people off the list, though, for
All-Star. Didn't they change the freshman-sophomore game to World versus USA?
Yeah, but that's
freshman. But I want the top players, like,
but
you know what I mean?
I don't think we're quite there yet, but it would be like, I think we're heading in that direction to have a Team USA versus Team World.
For sure,
but I don't know if we're there, because I feel like still now to this day, we have more Americans that are on the All-Star team than there are foreign players.
Yeah.
I think so. So
who's going to be your 13th player on the foreign team? Is it going to be 39-year-old Joe Ingles?
That is true. Like once it gets past a certain number,
bro.
it's like you don't have that many
you don't
athletes. We're just considering like a 5-on-5, but then it's like the subs.
The
Who's your
subs.
backup point guard, your backup
Exactly.
shooting guard? You know what I mean? So
Exactly.
like you said, it's not enough. But I mean, even this year's draft, you having like what the top 5? Well, how many of them were foreign players at a 5 draft? Was it 3? 3 or
3 Frenchmen in the top 5 or 6?
Yeah. So I mean, you see, like it's more, progressively, becoming more, drafting more. But I think we get to that point at some point where we could kind of see how that goes down. That'll be cool. I'll pay to see that.
Yeah, I think just to close out on this point with like the Olympic talk and like foreign-born players versus USA players, who's that a testament to for the NBA to get? Because we're starting to see a lot more. Not just obviously we've seen foreign players playing in the NBA, but we're seeing dominant foreign players playing in the NBA now. I'm talking about like Jokic. I don't think have we ever seen somebody like a Jokic before or a Luka Doncic before as a foreign player?
I think the foreigners are the skilled big men. That's what we're seeing. We're seeing skilled big men. They're not seeing all positions. It's really one position that we're seeing. They're just versatile and being able to do everything.
They can handle the ball like they're a point guard.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like Jokic just when they won the championship 2 years ago, Jokic was averaging a triple-double in points, rebounds, and assists. A big man getting double digits in assists.
Yeah.
There's no comparison to him. There really isn't. When you look at the record books, the records he's breaking for assists for a person playing center, you go back to Bill Walton, right? That's late 70s now. Or you go back all the way to Wilt Chamberlain when he was playing against like a 6'8" mailman. So, there really is not a precursor to him in the way he dominates.
Yeah, and I mean, feel like Wemby is the second coming to something that you would never like. Where are you gonna see this again? You know what I mean? And where do we go from Wemby? Because he hasn't even fully developed. Like he may be unstoppable at some point. Just looking at the way he plays and
scary.
Like bro, Wemby, like just like nothing. Alien, he may be the new like our generation Shaq of what Shaq was as far as dominance on the game, as far blocking shots, dunks, like it's just nothing you can do about it.
But he can still dribble, he can still shoot. Why is a guy that how tall is Wemby?
7'4",
7'4". Yeah. Why is a guy that tall able to pull up from 3 like that?
That's just the evolution of the game, though.
That is crazy.
But it's really just the evolution of the game. Like those skills being worked on at a super young age, and now you grow to be 7 feet, where you still have those skills you've been working on. As before, basketball was back to the basket, big men. So this is what we worked on. But now everybody's working on everything, and that's kind of the take I had with the positionless basketball in a sense. You will struggle defensively, but like 5-7 footers, like that could be a reality at some point where it's like they all just doing everything. There's no 4 or 5, essentially is no position. But yeah, I don't know.
That's where we're going. Like if you go back a few years, you got point guards who are 6'3", right? Now you're a 6'3" point guard. You're giving up height. They're switching you on a pick and roll every time, and they're coming at you, right?
Yeah, bro.
They want a 6'5", 6'6" guard, right? Someone who can handle it. It's changing, and it's changing fast.
Yeah, definitely.
It definitely is. So to kind of transition topic, stand on the same topic of basketball, but transition it more towards the NBA offseason. A lot of big moves that happened this offseason, man.
Yeah.
A lot of big things. I know we got Paul George signing with Philly. We got Jalen Brunson taking a big pay cut just to get some other guys. Who else joined them? It was they traded for
OG Anunoby, right?
From
during the season. Oh, you mean
the off season.
Michael Bridges.
Yeah, Mikal Bridges.
Bridges.
Yep. So a lot of what things stand out to y'all in the offseason? Even Bronny James getting freaking drafted the second round at the number 55th pick. I mean, like I said, this is the offseason obviously is like an entertaining time. A lot of it can probably get overshadowed with the Olympics, but it still stands. There was a lot of moves, a lot of big moves I felt that happened in the offseason we're going to see a different NBA season. A lot of teams looking different this next upcoming NBA season. So what's some things that stood out to y'all as far as like moves that happened in this offseason?
Just want to start out right away by throwing out a hot take. New York Knicks, number 1 seed, Eastern Conference.
Why you say that? That is a hot take. Because I would like, it's just for some reason with me, just if you're going like storylines and history of the team, the Knicks has always just been that team that like on paper they should be that team.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's just like they lose or get hurt or something happens to just like kind of shun their season.
It's been 50 2 years, I think, since they last won a
With
championship.
Phil Jackson in the
Walt
70s, right?
Frazier,
Right. All of them.
Earl the Pearl Monroe, right? And so I think it's time to return to that Patrick Ewing, Walt Frazier level, right? If you look, Villanova 2.0 here, they got, 4 guys from the Villanova National Championship
Jalen Bronson, Josh Hart,
Dante DiVincenzo, and Mikal Bridges.
Oh, wow. Mikal Bridges on Villanova as well?
All 4 of them.
Oh, that is crazy.
Have we ever seen that?
I don't know.
Have we ever seen that?
As many
Like,
guys
from
that
college and going to play in the NBA? I mean, as far as like starters, like all starting.
And they all played together?
And they all won at least one of the championships.
Oh,
together.
wow. And they won
that's
2,
crazy.
right? Like Villanova won like 2.
Brunson won 2 with them. I think DiVincenzo was on both. I think Mikal left after the first.
To answer your question, I don't think we have. Like, at least to my memory. I
I'm
mean,
gonna have to look that up.
Couple Kentucky stars, maybe.
Like-
just Calipari's just produced
Yeah.
so many.
Malik Monk and De'Aaron Fox played together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but not really though. Not
You
really.
get a big man on that Kings team, like Willie Cauley-Stein or anyone, maybe.
Willie Cauley-Stein
Yeah,
was
he
drafted
did.
by the Kings.
Mhm.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, yeah. So
Well,
but not
let's say to
really.
win a championship.
But they,
when
but you gotta think, these players won in college.
Yeah.
Like even when I'm mentioning Malik Monk or De'Aaron Fox, they almost, they had a big run in the college March Madness tournament, but they didn't win. You know what I mean? So like the last time like a Kentucky team won was with Anthony Davis in 2012.
Sounds right.
2011, 2012, something like that. Yeah. So no, to answer your question again, no, this is gonna be crazy. So that's the reason why, because of they all played together in college and won in college. You think they're gonna come out of the East? What about the Celtics?
You got that level of cooperation, but even more so, it's the way they just fit the bill of today's modern NBA, right? They can all guard multiple positions. That's that positionless basketball, right? And you got Mitchell Robinson. Hopefully he fills that gap that Isaiah Hartenstein's gonna leave by going to OKC. He was their big double-double threat in just 20 minutes per game. Mitchell Robinson had some injuries, but these Villanova guys, man, they know team chemistry. They do the dirty things that Tom Thibodeau, he's going to be on them for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
definitely.
so at the very least, they win over 50 games. They push for that 1 seed. But can Tom Thibodeau finally get to the promised land?
I do want him to. I ain't gonna lie, I like Tom Thibodeau when he was with the Bulls. I don't think we should have fired him at the time we did. I don't think we should have, but I love Tom Thibodeau, so I will always be rooting for any team that he's coaching on. But do I think they're gonna? It's just the Celtics, bro. Like the Celtics literally just dominated majority of the playoffs, and especially in the finals, it was like you know what I mean? Like, and then for a while, I guess we were kind of saying the same thing about the Celtics. Like they was always in the conversation. They always like on paper was the best team in the East. Had the record to show for it, had the playoff run to show for it. They just came up short so many times, and then they finally got over the hump this past season. Can the Knicks do the same? Are they in that spot to really do the same? Like, I don't know. I think it's more of a trust factor. Like, do I trust that they're gonna, like, on paper, like I said, they got it all together, but do I trust them to get over that hump or to stay healthy or to, you know what I mean? Like, it's so many things that like has played their season, especially in the last 2 seasons where they clearly turned it around. But I feel like it's just so many things that played their season. Specifically this last season, it was injuries. You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. Like, as much as I love Tom Thibodeau, are the injuries, can he take fault in a lot of those injuries because he plays so many minutes to his top players? So many things, man. I don't know.
It's a good point. Mikal Bridges is definitely going to lead the league in minutes. I think,
Yeah, absolutely.
he's got to be the favorite for that going into next season.
But him and Jalen Brunson are probably split because Jalen Brunson was leading it this past season, right? Probably. Yeah.
Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart was up there too. Classic Tom Thibodeau. Luol Deng pretty much ran through the ground by the time he was 29 from his time with the Bulls, right?
Yeah.
Led the league, 38 minutes a game, whatnot.
Crazy.
But, I think what it hinges down for me, the Celtics really did look unbeatable when they were healthy.
Yeah, definitely.
Keyword healthy, though, because you're banking on Kristaps Porzingis, right? He's 7'2", 7'3", Lithuanian big who's got foot problems, right? He's had a couple surgeries, and you're banking on him as he enters into his 30s to keep that clean bill of health, right? You're banking on Drew Holiday as he enters his mid-30s to keep a clean bill of health and
I
be
think
chasing
Drew
these
Holiday
guys
will.
all over the perimeter like that. He's getting old, man.
I don't know. Drew Holiday, I don't know. Drew Holiday nice,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
The defense, man, he is nice. But another big thing that happened in the offseason was Paul George signing with the Sixers. What does that mean for the Sixers? I don't think it means anything, if you want me to be honest. I don't think it means much to anything, but what do y'all see them with that key signing in Paul George this next upcoming season?
Means another early playoff exit.
Exactly. I'm glad we're on the same page as that, though.
And instead of getting mad at Tobias Harris, they're gonna get mad at Paul George or Joel Embiid. I think Philly fans are especially cruel, and that they have this
like the
history
hardest
of
fans.
just being very hard on
Yeah.
their teams, right? And I think Paul
They
George
freaking ran Ben Simmons out of basketball, bro. I mean, technically, Ben Simmons is still on the Nets,
Right.
but it's like he hasn't played since his collapse in the playoffs, like, what, 3 years ago? 2 years ago?
It's been a couple.
3 years ago, yeah. So, like, man, they legit ran him out of Philly.
You gotta have
Ran
thick
him out of
skin.
Philly. It's crazy. So, yeah, I'm glad we're on the same page. We're not going to harp on that too much, but another signing that happened was Klay Thompson to the Dallas Mavericks. As we know, Dallas Mavericks was in the finals this previous season. What do y'all think? How do y'all think that helps their team?
Yeah, give him a shooter. Give him another shooter. It depends on how he plays, though.
In all honesty,
like it just depends. Is he gonna go back to the Klay Thompson that we all know, the Splash Brother Klay,
It's a good
or is
question.
it the Klay from this past season? So I mean, I think it just all depends. But man, if they get a shooter, if they get a spot up shooter, somebody that can knock down consistently, I think they they return for sure. And we might just see a repeat with that.
Do y'all think though? So this is just my take. I don't know if Dallas should have been there this year. Like, I think it was the matchups that kind of got. I don't think really Minnesota should have made it past the Denver Nuggets. If the Denver Nuggets didn't have that late game collapse, was that in Game 7 at the 20-point? They was 30 points, 20 points, and the Minnesota Timberwolves just came back and won the game. I see Denver honestly having another championship, if you want me to be honest. But as we know, like in the NBA, especially in this day and age, it's really matchups, and I just think Minnesota matched up horribly against Dallas. But if you got Denver versus Dallas, I'm seeing like a gentleman's sweep, at least like 4-1 with Denver winning. But I don't know.
It's tough to bet against it. I saw, what kept working for Dallas against Minnesota is their bigs, like Doncic or Kyrie, they penetrate into the lane. And then on the pick and roll, they're flipping it under or tossing it up high. And Gobert was not able to stop that. Cat was not able to stop that. The Celtics, they stopped it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But something you mentioned on the Nuggets, should they have been the favorite? Should they have been in that spot?
Most definitely.
They
I
just
think
traded
so.
or they didn't re-sign one of the most important players this offseason, being KCP, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope.
Good role player for them.
Good role player, but their top lineup was Aaron Gordon, Jokic, Jamal Murray, KCP in the lineup. They all really move fluidly. Jokic was like, man, we don't even run plays when it's us in the game. We're all just running around and we just, we got that chemistry. It's like, I know a dude's going to be behind me, flips it behind him. They're moving without the ball, and it's pretty basketball. Are we going to see that same level of basketball this next season, though? I'm a little skeptical.
So you mentioned that they didn't re-sign KCP, but they did pick up Russell Westbrook. What do you think that feels? Do you think that fills the void of a KCP? I don't know, because Russell is pretty much more of a role player now. Obviously, he's not going to be a star on the team, but do you think that helps them, or do you think it's going to make it worse, or it's not going to just be the same?
KCP, I think he's a 40% plus three-point shooter. And I don't have Russell Westbrook's three-point stats in front of me, but I don't need him in front of me to know that he's not doing that. Is he doing some of the small things? Sure, but I don't think he can play all league level defense, right? So what is he really bringing to them is playmaking. And what's already their strongest attribute to me? It's probably playmaking. You got Jamal Murray, can easily average 6-7 assists per game. You got Jokic. He's setting records for a center for assists per game. They're like, dude, bring the ball up.
Right.
So I'm like, where does Russell fit in, right? He's going to have people sagging off him to help on Jokic. I think it's really going to, not really help out his teammates and bring the best out of them by having him on the court.
Do you think maybe he'll be leading that secondary? Like be that man on the secondary, maybe come off the bench? Can you kind of see that role for him?
That'd be interesting. Running around with Christian Braun. You know, Christian Braun can really shoot the ball. Maybe that gives him more space to operate, like you said. Maybe he helps him out in the regular season to eat some minutes, get some hustle plays, take some workload off the other guys. But I think when it comes down to the playoffs and your gap to shoot is that much smaller and guys need spacing, I just don't see a fit for him.
I can see that.
Yeah, I can see. Yeah,
I can definitely see that. Still staying on the topic of offseason, but I'm switching it specifically to our Bulls, our Chicago Bulls. Our Chicago Bulls. Our Bulls, man, I ain't gonna lie, man. The Bulls is kind of, we in shambles. I wouldn't say we in shambles, but we are definitely in a full-on rebuild mode.
Man, episode 23, it's Jordan episode. We got to gas him up, though, a little bit.
Gas him up out. Well, I mean, they did the draft pick that we just got. I don't know how to pronounce his name, Dan. You want to pronounce it?
Matas Buzelis, Hinsdale's own from the Chicagoland area. He showed out a little bit in Summer League.
He definitely did.
You know, he was our number one pick from this past draft, putting up numbers of 33% from the field, 21% from deep. So not efficient, but he did put up 16 points, 4 rebounds, 2 steals, 2 blocks. So showing some versatility on the defensive end with the 2 steals and 2 blocks. Some of his highlights, real nice. The way he gets up on some of those vertical jumps for alley-oops. He's real smooth game in the mid-range, you know. Little bit of a Dirk Nowitzki mini, or my comp I really like is a young Danilo Gallinari, the pride of Italy.
Before he got hurt.
Yeah,
because he tore his ACL or something, right, when he was on Denver.
Right.
So, yeah.
People forget he had a little pop to him on those Carmelo Nuggets.
Yeah, he was nice. I don't know. What do you think about the offseason trade for Josh Giddey for Alex Caruso? With Josh Giddey for Alex Caruso. I think for us, I mean, for the future, I think it would probably be better. But, I mean, I'm sad to see Alex Caruso go because he was definitely good for our team, especially on the defensive end from the bench. But I think he would be definitely more useful in OKC.
Man, he's a fan favorite. Those always hurt. You know, that's like watching Joakim Noah leave, you know, one of our guys.
Exactly.
But like you said, he's perfect fit for OKC. They needed another 3-and-D. Josh Giddey was falling out of their rotation a little bit in the playoffs because his 3-point numbers were just a little bit lower. They're putting Isaiah Joe from Arkansas in, and you know he shoots it at a 42% clip or so. So he's lights out. So he kind of fell out of their rotation. But coming over here, man, give him the ball, right? He and Kobe, he can have the ball in his hands. That's when he's best. And just let him be that offensive hub that hopefully he can grow into. He's 21 years old. Let's see what
he got a lot of growth, got a lot of ceiling too as well. And he wasn't bad for OKC as well. Yeah. Another thing with the Bulls though too is like we had a lot of moves made this previous season without making much moves the other seasons. And like even DeMar DeRozan, we traded him. Who did we trade him for? We traded him for somebody to the Kings. I don't remember exactly.
Bag of chips.
Bag of chips. That's what I'm saying. I can't even remember.
Chris Duarte.
Yeah. Another role player.
3-point sniper, maybe. Didn't play a lot for the Kings last year. But
he played pretty well for the Heat, though.
For the Heat, and he had a year with the Pacers where he shot the ball all right, too. And, you know, I don't know that he's a part of our future. He's in his mid-20s, early mid-20s. But, you know, maybe he's a trade chip that we can toss in with Levine, try and get that contract off us. I've been hearing, you know, still looking for a move for Vucevic, too. Not a lot of takers.
Yeah, Zach LaVine. I see him with us next season. Like, for some reason, I don't see us. Because for one, and this is I guess the main reason comes to his availability. You know what I mean? He hasn't really been super available these last, 2 seasons since we signed him. Even the season when it was Lonzo Ball's and DeMar DeRozan's first season, he was still kind of hurt a little bit, and then the following season he was hurt, and then this past season he was hurt because we couldn't even trade him. He got hurt to the point that we couldn't even trade him in the by the trade deadline. So I don't know. I see him just on our roster, and we just got to eat that contract until it's time for him to go, because I don't see any other team wanting him specifically because of his availability. And then we got Lonzo Ball returning. What do we see ourselves with Lonzo Ball? I ain't gonna lie, Lonzo Ball finna ball next season, bro. He finna come back, do everything he was doing beforehand, and it's gonna be like he never got hurt. That's just my hot take, though.
You think so?
Possibly. If I'm confident in that, I mean, don't quote me on this, but yes, I have faith at least. Dan doesn't though.
I am a lifelong Cubs fan, and I know you should never get your hopes up too high because Chicago sports are cruel and they are ruthless. And so, no, Lonzo Ball will not be back in a Bulls uniform. If he is, great. I will be first in line to, support him. But that many injuries, talking about a kneecap essentially being shattered and reconstructed. He couldn't walk down steps a year ago, I even heard. So, him getting cleared to play, great. He's going to do great at the local YMCA, right? But chasing around Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, I don't think that's in his future, man.
Yeah.
No.
For 82 games, even 60 games.
Because he's always been unavailable a lot of his career as well, right? Because I think his injury, it got misdiagnosed. Well, actually, it was diagnosed as a meniscus tear, and they thought it was like a partial tear, but it was actually full-on tear. And then I guess he had previous meniscus surgeries that he had no meniscus left because he was constantly chipping away at it. So now it's like they took something from a different part of his body, put it in the place where his meniscus is, and this is like the first time this ever happened to an athlete. Like, this surgery is unheard of. So I can understand how y'all think he doesn't come back, but I don't know, bro. He got a brand new meniscus tear, technically, right? Don't he technically got a brand new meniscus?
A new
I don't
year,
know.
new me,
Yeah.
right?
I don't know, but
We'll
yeah,
see.
it's just tough with Chicago sports, period. Because I don't know, man. Like, I think I even seen an article where it said this is probably the worst sports season for sports. I know the Blackhawks was at the bottom of their division, Bulls is at the bottom of the division, Bears is at the bottom of the division. Although I do think things are turning around for the Bears. Shout out Caleb Williams and DJ Moore and all my guys over there, Keenan Allen. But and even the Sox was bad in their division. Even the Cubs was in the bottom of the division, or currently as it stands. So it's like, how is it that we're in such a big market of Chicago and that we can't get this shit together? Like, bro, like, what the heck? I do think the Bulls' biggest flaw is Jerry Reinsdorf. I really do. Like, I really do. Like, I think he's okay with being average. Like, I think he's okay with being in the conversation all the way up until the end of the season just to us to get a play-in game and lose. Because, don't we still got the, number one season ticket sales for the NBA?
Every single year.
How? How?
We just have the most
loyal.
How, bro? To be in the same position for the last 3-4 years, how? Like, that's what I don't understand. But I think Jerry Reinsdorf is okay with doing that. I think he's still living off the glory of those 6 championships in the 90s with Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen and everybody. But how? Like, how are we okay from being a team like that, one of the greatest ever basketball teams ever, to now we just okay with just being average, man? I don't get it, bro. And it frustrates the heck out of me, specifically with the Bulls, because basketball is my favorite sport to watch. But even with the Bears, like the quarterback situation, how we plagued our whole lifetime with not having a quarterback. Like, getting this shit together. Like, I just don't get it, bro. Like, I just don't freaking get it, bro. That's just my little rant. My bad, y'all.
Oh, no. Hey, it's pain. We can see it coming out of you here. Like, this is all pent up from years as a fan. Like, this is a safe space. You need to.
This is crazy, bro.
See, I just don't relate because I don't have that emotional attachment.
You don't have the.
I don't have that.
How?
I don't have,
He's gone
because,
you
man.
don't think the Bears are going to be good next year?
No, I don't.
Why not?
All right, so we're going to get into this
Yes,
now?
we're going to get into this right now.
So here's the thing. For me, the skill positions are there. Okay, cool. But what was the biggest issue for the Bears last year? It wasn't a skill position. It was a line problem. And we didn't address that line problem. We have one of the worst defensive lines as far as pressure goes and sacks. I think we had 30 sacks, but 30 sacks total last year for our defensive line. But we gave up 50 sacks. So I think we're top 10 in sacks given up last year and almost last in sacks total for our defense. So that's the biggest problem. So Caleb Williams coming in, yes, he's super skilled. Yes, he may be generational, but who can be generational getting sacked 50 times in a season? Justin Fields got sacked 44 times last year. So if Caleb Williams gets sacked 44 times, how good do you think he will be? If the defense can't get any pressure, how good do you think the team will be? So that's my biggest thing. So I think they're going to struggle this year because you added a receiver. So we drafted a receiver, a kicker, and a tackle, I believe. Am I missing one?
We drafted a punter, a receiver, and a quarterback.
Yeah, quarterback and a tackle.
And a tackle.
Yeah. So and then I even think right now, maybe we have
some good signings too.
There are three offensive linemen on injury reserve right now and already in camp. The Yale lineman, he has a quad injury. He's supposed to be play for the Bears, and I just think that the line is going to be the biggest issue. Like, you have good safeties, corners, the skill positions are good, but it's going to come down to the line. And I don't think Caleb Williams can be Caleb Williams if he's getting sacked 50 times in the season. Like, I just don't think. So maybe this year is a struggle, and then we go out and draft some more linemen, and then we have something to talk about. But I don't see somebody getting sacked 50 times being too productive.
All right, come on, Dan, let him have it.
That's fair. I mean, he brings up good points. As a Bears fan, like you said, when have we had a good QB? Have we ever been offense over defense in Bears history? Maybe you go back to the 1940s with Sid Luckman, who we all remember seeing, right? But honestly, it's the additions we've made that give me such confidence.
So many. We had the best offseason.
We looked bad at the beginning of last year, but we improved.
The offseason, but the additions are not helping the team. They're not addressing the biggest problem that we have.
Had our line looking at least formidable, right? And I believe in our coach, right? He's defensive mind, great defensive mind. Mm-hmm. I think he can coach him up well. He's going to have that pass rush at least formidable. Is it going to be a top half in the NFL? Maybe not, but I don't think it's going to be a bottom feeder pass rush.
I think both lines will be bottom because even offensive line, I think so, bro. But because what changes?
Fields had a little bit more time at the end of the year. They had injuries early on last year, and Fields was running for his life, right? I remember Jay Cutler leading the NFL in sacks. So I am scared for Caleb Williams, right? But the improvements our line made at the end of the year, he had a little bit more time. Fields was able to then put up a little bit better numbers. Now you add on to that, DeAndre Swift coming over from the Eagles, right? Mm-hmm. 1,000-yard rusher, Pro Bowler last year.
And still having Khalil Herbert.
Yes.
Still have Khalil
Herbert. I get that, but
we
have to address.
And now we got
have to address who blocks for him. We have to address that. Yes, you're a great rusher. Yes, you're a great quarterback, but none of that matters if you don't have the guys blocking for you.
Did Caleb Williams have a bad line at USC last year?
Didn't have a line.
And he still played fairly well, I would think.
What did USC do? Did they make it to the college playoffs? Did they make
it? The defense, though. It was the USC defense.
But my point is, we're talking about winning, though. We're talking about winning, getting there. You're not getting there. Yes, you can be generational all you want, but if these certain pieces aren't put together, you're not winning anything. So, okay, cool. Just Caleb Williams, go have a field day. Throw for thousands of yards. Go ahead. But if the Bears still get their ass kicked, then what good was it? You know what I mean? Your personal stats are good, but that's not going to win you games. It's not going to – until we address the offense and D-line, there's nothing for me. I have no hope because good. You got Rome out there. You got all your receivers out there.
Didn't we have the number one run defense in the second half of the season last year?
Second half?
We don't need time to throw, though.
Sweat, okay, that was after the Montez
we'll
Sweat
see.
trade.
We'll see. For me watching football, I don't have hope. You have to show me. It has to be executed. So I'm not hoping anything. I'm going off based on what I saw last year, what you guys did. I'm not a believer.
So you're not saying that you don't want us to do good.
No, I would love for the Bears to be great.
Okay, because I'm getting a little confused right now.
I would love for the Bears to be good, but all of the years of hoping and praying and
you're tired of it.
We were so happy for Justin Fields. Oh my God, we got Justin Fields. Everybody was so happy, and it's like a delusion. All right, back to what it was. You know what I mean? So I'm not going up and down roller coaster with the Bears no more. Y'all got to show me. So go out there, do what they say that projected to do, and cool. But for me, I don't see it. I don't see it.
Lastly, on this time, we don't need any time to throw when you got this receiving corpse, right?
Okay.
DJ Moore, firstly. 1,300 receiving yards last year.
Shout out DJ Moore. What a guy, man. I met him at DJ Moore camp. He's a phenomenal guy. I'll let you continue.
1,300, though. Do you know how many passing yards Justin Fields had total last year? Right? 2,600. So he had half of his yards. That's so impressive to put up that many numbers in a run-first offense, right? You got Keenan Allen. 500 catch seasons.
That was probably his best season last year.
All over 1,000 yards. That was his most catches, I believe. He's had more yards in a season. That was his best catches, and he's 31-32. So he's still got it in the tank.
Yep.
One of the best possession receivers in our game, right? Oh, I only got 1 second to throw it. Where's Keenan? Throw it over there, right? DJ Moore, he's got that ability too. Just throw it up. And at Rome, Adunze, he hasn't proven it at the professional level, but college level, he put up 1,600, big-bodied possession receiver. So he's got no shortage of weapons here. I just think he can run himself.
Yep.
Little flip out to Swift. Khalil Herbert can run it. We got the weapons. I hear you. If an injury happens on the offensive line, I'm a little nervous.
You got nothing there. You got nothing to back up. Nothing.
I stand on this, and I know many media journalists have said this, and everybody, and I know we talk about this off camera all the time. Caleb Williams is walking into the best situation that any number one draft pick, especially at the QB position, is ever walking into. He's walking into weapons, a solid defense. Maybe the offensive line is still a little shaky, but I think it's competent. I can't say it's just as bad as what Justin Fields had when he was walking into.
The same. It's the same.
Other
than who did the Bills? They traded for the Bills guard. He played center. I think he maybe had 30 snaps last year, but other than that, everything it was the same.
All this to say, and we have Hard Knocks as well. Bears is going to the Super Bowl, bro, and we're winning that shit. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. We're going 17-0. Where nobody's touching us. Caleb Williams is Patrick Mahomes, Tams 10, 2.0, 10.0, whatever you want to put it. We are winning it all.
I hate that you guys want to set yourself up for so much disappointment.
We're winning it all.
Hey.
Super hot take. No, I am excited for Hard Knocks, though. I think Hard Knocks start August 6th. Then they got like a lot of public games for training camp starting this week. So we definitely got to get out to one of those training camps. Yeah. Hopefully I'm not traveling too much for work. But I'm excited for Hard Knocks. What do y'all think about us being on Hard Knocks? This is our first time ever being on Hard Knocks. I don't know if I love it. I don't know if I like it. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if I like it.
I loathe it with a passion.
Why?
And it all stems back to the pain we have all had as Chicago sports fans, right? If I would have had something 2016 Cubs season, right? And we're doing an in-depth analysis preseason of these Cubs because we got a hype finally. No, go away. Let us win something first. Yeah. Get our confidence up. We got to do something before we're getting all this
hubbub. Get the celebrity. Yeah. And I think, and that's why I don't like it either, because I don't know, man. Like, it just I don't like the spotlight on us, man. Obviously,
why not?
Obviously, we had the best offseason.
Because
this is his first. No. I'm saying as far as like a Hard Knock spotlight.
What's wrong
with
it?
First season.
You got so much faith and hope.
Yes, I do, but I don't want no distractions either.
It ain't no distractions.
Yes.
No.
Hard Knocks is like probably.
If you feel like he's generational and the Bears are gonna be so good, well, let's highlight them. Let's make it. They're gonna be the stars of the NFL. Let's do it.
I don't want to turn into like a Baker Mayfield, Cleveland Browns situation. Hey, no. So here's the thing: is like. like I'm confident, but like I do believe in distractions.
Yeah.
I do believe in distractions is can fault a team. I think back in when the Bears won in '85, their biggest distraction was because they kind of went Hollywood, bro.
Hey, look.
Specifically in their head coach.
Well, at least we'll have an excuse. At least it'll be a valid.
No,
excuse.
I don't want excuses, bro.
Hard
Super
Knocks-
Bowl
Hard Knocks-
shuffle.
Hard
Let's make
Knocks
the
came
Super
to
Bowl
Chicago,
shuffle
That's
right now.
why.
That's
That's
what
why.
I'm
You know what I mean?
I'm tired of excuses, bro. I don't want bro. I just want us to be locked in. I think it goes back to just a locked in factor.
Yeah.
I don't want cameras on them. At least HBO cameras for the world to see them training. I don't want that. I want them to be locked in, focused on the team. We got a new team. We had a great offseason. Obviously, it makes sense to highlight. I understand it. Like, I get it. Like, it makes the most sense. We would probably the most popular season coming into the offseason with the things that was going on at the QB position, with the trade with Keenan Allen, with the signing of DeAndre Smith, with the drafting of Rome Odunze, and then some other pieces in the draft as well.
Yeah.
I mean, we were the most popular. We probably had the best offseason out of any team.
Definitely.
So I get it and I understand it, but it's like at the same time, it's like,
Hey,
fuck.
what do
Like,
pressure
no,
do?
no.
What do pressure do, man?
Make
Burst
diamonds.
pipes will make diamonds, man. So hey, I don't want to hear all that,
Yeah.
bro. Like, let's go, let's go. It's gonna be a movie. So if the Bears,
I'm
is
excited.
gonna be that,
I'm excited to see it
yeah,
now
I
since
want
it's
to watch
here.
it. Yeah,
I'm gonna watch it for sure, but
yeah,
I don't want it to be a situation where who's Hard Knocks last year for the training camp? It was the Jets, and it was
look how that turned out.
yeah, I know. Aaron Rodgers
Yeah,
got hurt.
got
Like, you know what I'm
hurt,
saying? It's like
So
for
it's
some
like-
reason for me, it just feels like some type of Hard Knocks curse. I don't want us to get on. I don't
No,
want that
trust me,
nowhere near none of us.
We had
bro.
a curse way before Hard Knocks. Goddamn it. You know what I'm saying?
Or maybe it may do the opposite
It
with this
spark
Hard Knocks
something.
and spark something at the QB position.
Hey, look, I'm gonna say this. I want the Bears to be good. I'm from Chicago. Why would I not? Why do I not
Exactly.
want them to be good? But it's not. It's just like, bro, I'm not gonna get my hopes up. They're gonna have to show
I
me.
feel it.
I'm one of those, man. But yeah, that offensive line, that D line is my biggest concern, bro. And I think we're gonna see what Caleb Williams is made of, especially if shit go down a way like that and you getting sacked and it's like what how you built. Like, are you Chicago tough? Are you really a Chicago guy or you the California guy? You know what I mean? Because if shit go bad here, how you gonna show up? Are you gonna fold?
That's true.
You know, that's what I want to see. Like, fuck all that other shit. Like, he start 30 sacks, 40 sacks come. Are you still playing hard? Are you still giving your all? Or
Can
you
he
lose
battle
the
through
team?
adversity?
Yeah, you know, like that's what I
get
want to
it.
see. That's what I'm on. So
How do we measure his success, though, right? Because the Bears have never had a 4,000-yard passer in their history. Some teams have had a 5,000-yard passer, right?
Yeah.
So how do you measure that, right? We're coming off a last place finish. Lions are looking pretty dang good again. So is it
the
winning,
Lions.
winning
Bay.
the
You got
division?
the Lions,
Bay.
number. Fuck that. I don't believe the Lions, bro. Go
All
ahead,
right.
my bad. Continue.
Okay,
Man.
I believe. Trust me.
Yeah.
I believe the Lions.
Yo,
So,
they Lions also have not won a championship since what the 1950s, I believe. So they similar to us. It's tough to pump them up too. But hey, they at least made the NFC
They at least
championship.
showed something. They
Right.
at least executed. You know what I mean? That's all. That's what I go off of. I mean, it's not hopeful, wishful thinking. It's like, what product did you put out? You know, they played good football last year. The Bears didn't. So I can only judge you off your last performance. I can't.
What have
judge
you done
off
for
of-
me lately?
Yeah, that's how it always is. 'Cause
Trust
things
in
change.
Dan Campbell.
Bro,
Dan
things
Campbell,
change
baby.
in sports so much, other than the dynasties like Kansas City, but things change within teams so much. Like, it's unpredictable, you know, at least at the NFL, NBA level, you know.
And football, to me, in my opinion, is the hardest sport to win a championship,
Definitely.
especially consistently because of that single game elimination.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. Maybe we may see some things change. I am definitely looking forward to Hard Knocks. I just don't want it to be a distraction. Also, shout out to Hard Knocks. I got a nice little video at the DJ Moore camp that I would love to be on Hard Knocks or at least on the Bears YouTube page or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, DJ Moore, man, he is a funny dude. I know, like, we're going to wrap up this Bears topic a little bit, but DJ Moore is a funny dude. After spending like 2 days with him at a camp, like, he's like a genuine, like, laid back, like, fun guy. You know what I mean? Like, he loves being around the kids. He's like, right before that camp, I saw like his presser. And that was like my first thought. I'm like, dang, I didn't realize he was this funny. And then actually seeing it in person,
Right.
like, I thought it was the coolest thing ever. And then the second day of his camp, Caleb Williams came through, laid back dude, pretty cool, love the kids as well. So many kids kept trying to come up and get autographs and everything. It was the craziest thing ever, man. And man, I'm excited to see what their relationship is like on the field and then obviously off the field too. Hopefully they can create that same synergy that him and Justin Fields created the previous season. It was even a funny thing, like in the first day of the camp at TF North, some of the kids was like shitting on Justin Fields, and he was like, "Hey, no Justin Fields slander over here." He's like, none of that.
Speaking of Justin Fields, how do y'all think is gonna play out in with the Steelers in Pittsburgh? Justin Fields.
TBD. I think it's my bad, Dan, but I think we won't know until he's on the field playing.
Yeah.
If Russell Wilson is going to be the QB1 and starting, I don't think we can really say much about him until maybe Russell Wilson plays bad. I don't think he will.
I think they'll still have packages for him. I don't think he just sits. No, definitely. So? Why would you? He's a great athlete. Still, he can run the ball. Like I see him having packages for him. Quarterback run, power, some play action, bootleg stuff. So yeah, like I don't see him just sitting and waiting his opportunity.
Yeah,
no.
Mike Tomlin is the head coach still though, so that's a short leash for Mr. Russell Wilson, right? After the second game when they lose 32-7 and he's got 120 passing yards, I think that's when Justin Fields comes in. Because I don't know if you guys saw any Broncos games last year, but they brought in Sean Payton to fix Russell Wilson, and he looks still just as broken as he did before. So
I don't know. I feel like Sean Payton didn't come in to fix Russell Wilson. I feel like he came in to get him the fuck out of there. Like, no, seriously. Like, I really feel like, because even when the situation happened where they was trying to get him to, like, lower his salary or whatever, and he was just like, no. Yeah. And then it was like, all right, we're going to sit you. I feel like Sean Payton came in there to, like, all right, we need, how can we get this guy to sit down so we can get to the next QB or whatever. I really think Sean Payton didn't want him there. I don't think
that kind of money and those draft picks they gave up, though. I usually think they push that a little harder.
I think even if from a GM's perspective, that's what they brought in Sean Payton to do. I think Sean Payton had a completely different agenda. I think his agenda was like, I think initially maybe he came in with like, positive mind and saying, I'm gonna work with Russell. He's a veteran quarterback, Super Bowl winning quarterback. Is he a Super Bowl winning MVP? Probably not. No, but still he has the experience, and Russell Westbrook overall had a pretty good career. And I think initially maybe when he came in, he was like, I'm gonna see what I can do with him. And then I think after a while he was just like, I'm trying to do whatever I can to get him going, because I think the certain part of the season is starting to get a little bit together, if I'm not mistaken, on the offensive end with Russell. And then they set him for the rest of the season. It was like, no, like you're gone. Like, take this pay cut or you're out of here. And they end up getting him out of there. So I do think he's gonna be good in Pittsburgh, but like you said, Dan, he is going to be on the short leash, and on top of that, I mean, he's up there in age. Yeah. So you know what I mean? It's like he's going to be on the short leash, and why not? Why wouldn't you want your backup quarterback to come in, who was just a starting quarterback, came out of a shitty situation? You're bringing him into a different situation, kind of like a refresh, a restart, a reboot. Who knows? You know what I mean? Like, and then on top of that, he has starting experience. He's an experienced quarterback in Justin Fields, I'm referring to. Mm-hmm. So who knows? I do think we'll see him on the field at some point in the season, but I don't necessarily think it would be because Russell Wilson played bad. I think it would be because Justin Fields is just like, they're like, all right, it's time to just kind of get him in there.
I agree. I think they're going to ease him into it. Like I said, I think they're going to have packages for him and see how he does. And I think he'll be a starter before mid-season, I think.
Yeah. Tomlin still hasn't had a losing season, or was that this past season?
He's never had a losing season.
Still has not. And a couple of years ago, they started 11-0, right? That defense looks crazy. I just think the team's built for Justin Fields. It's smash mouth. Yeah. Run the ball.
And I think that's where he wanted to go too. I think Ryan Poles gave him that option. Yeah. So I mean,
we'll see if see who the problem was.
Hey, I'm still a Justin Fields. Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see who the problem was.
I'm still a Justin Fields.
I like Justin Fields.
Yeah, I like Justin Fields. I did.
Bro, Wish him the best. Man.
But I don't think he would like. Although I was very hard on keep him.
I think they should have kept him.
But business decisions, I understand why. Yeah. For one, Ryan Poles did not draft him. Two, he was at his third season, and he was at the end of his third season, and it was like, is he our quarterback? Is he not? That's kind of your answer right there. And then three, we was gonna have to pay him. And it's like, you either pay him and then you can't really pay anybody else, or maybe key offseason signings or whatever, or you draft a new quarterback at the number one position, former Heisman, being talked about as once in a generational talent, and you have a longer runway to have to pay him. It's just business wise, it was the best decision.
Yeah.
Now, like skill wise, that's to be determined. We don't know what Caleb Williams is, but I think business wise, if you're looking at it from a business standpoint, it was the best decision. I mean, and and like I don't think anybody in the locker room, especially not DJ Moore, I think he was a leader in the locker room, and he was loved by his fellow teammates, especially in DJ Moore. A lot of his passing yards was to DJ Moore, but it was time. This would have been his third system he was learning, because he was first with Matt Nagy. Matt Nagy got out of there. Then he was with Luke Getsky. Luke Getsky got out of there. Then he would be with Shane Walter. It's like, if he's going to start fresh again, why not let it just be on a new team? A new team that has proven to be competent, especially at the quarterback position and on the offensive end. So
I agree.
I know we was talking about the Bears for a long time. Is there any last thoughts about any NFL offseason moves or whatever? Because I think we can switch topics from there too as well.
You got a favorite from each conference for the Super Bowl appearance?
Chiefs.
It's tough.
Yeah,
Chiefs
they reload,
is
bro. They let them
nasty,
get even
bro.
better though.
They're nasty. Like, man, freaking Andy Reid is like, man, he's a GOAT coach. Like I think he's like in that same par as Bill Belichick, bro. Like if not, I can argue that he may even be a better coach than Bill Belichick, because every player that has played for Andy Reid has loved him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, when he was with the Eagles, he didn't leave the Eagles because he got fired. He chose to leave the Eagles to go to the Chiefs. You know what I mean? So, and then any player that talks about it, like, man, I don't know. Andy Reid is just different, bro. Like, his offense, like the way he knows how to run an offense, and then just, I don't know, man. The fucking Chiefs is different, bro. They're different, bro. Yeah. And I see them winning again. Like, especially who they just drafted last season?
Xavier Worthy
from Texas. Yep.
He cold, bro. Is nice. Like,
man.
you gave Pat more weapons, bro. Like,
more,
he has.
You gave him another Tyreek Hill, essentially.
Yeah, but then they have Hollywood Brown too.
Yeah,
like he got, bro. It's gonna get crazy. That offense
bro.
is gonna be crazy. But I'm still rolling with my boy Lamar, man. Baltimore.
Action
we got
Jackson.
Derrick Henry.
That was a good sign for them.
That backfield is crazy, bro. So I'm rolling with the Ravens, man. I want them to get there. I'm rolling with the Ravens.
Be a little different, little sleeper pick. Chargers are finally going to break through that nasty AFC West. Justin Herbert, he's been airing it out a couple seasons now. I know he's losing Keenan Allen, but I think he'll be all right.
Yeah, they're gonna be nice. And then they just got Jim Harbaugh as a coach, and he's been the last time he was in the NFL was with the 49ers, and he was a pretty good coach.
I think he did all right.
No, he was pretty
couple
good.
Super Bowl appearance or two.
One Super Bowl appearance with Colin Kaepernick as a starting QB, and he had Alex Smith as a quarterback too. Dang, Alex Smith, man. Anywho, but and he had a pretty good season. I think he had another NFC Championship appearance with Colin Kaepernick as well. So at least 2 NFC Championship appearances at least. So I mean, Jim Harbaugh would be good for the Chargers.
How about the NFC? Who you guys got?
Coming out of the NFC?
Yeah.
The Bears? No, I'm joking. If I'm being realistic, who made some good signings? I know the Eagles made a good signing in Saquon Barkley.
I was gonna say the Eagles. I like
the Eagles. I do like the Eagles. I like Detroit. You gotta say Detroit. San Fran, I think, will also be pretty good coming into next season as well.
I'm going to choose San Fran, I think. Just whoever they plug in there at QB, it's just a machine. You put in a QB.
It's truly a QB's team. Like in San Fran, because they and that's been since Alex Smith, Colin Kaepernick, Jimmy Garoppolo,
Brock Purdy now.
Like, you know
last
what I mean?
pick in the draft.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like they've consistently, and like you said, they haven't. These guys that we named, they're not necessarily generational talent, but they're competent quarterbacks that can fit into a very competent offensive system within Kyle Shanahan's system. So
you add Chase Young to
an
an already tenacious defense.
They already had a good defense.
You add Chase Young, and it's just not fair.
And then they got CMC in the background. I mean, in the backfield with Deebo Samuel, weapons. And Brandon, is he planning on re-signing, or are they trying to get him up out of there? He's trying to get traded?
I don't know. They're not paying them.
I think. Nah, I don't know.
They got George
so we'll
Kittle.
see a
They'll
That's
be
what I'm
fine.
saying. That'd be
So
fine.
do you
George
think we see a
Kittle.
repeat
Yeah.
Super Bowl? Same thing. Niners Chiefs.
So
that's what y'all calling it.
not necessarily because like I said before, I do think winning in the NFL is the hardest in any sport. So to see the same Super Bowl matchup is not really
unlikely.
is very unlikely. But at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised. You know what I mean? Like if they both made it back, I'm like, all right, sure. I don't know. Is Dallas gonna get over the hump? Like who knows? Like Dallas is consistently good too. That's the crazy part. And they consistently make the playoffs and then they just collapse.
Just Jared Goff, man. He's an okay regular season QB, right? He looked good in Detroit at times, but your big game QB is Jared Goff, right? The Super Bowl, he was the starting QB in with the Rams. The punter almost won the MVP
because they didn't even score that. They scored little,
7-6,
like something like that.
single digit
Yeah,
game, and
like
it was
probably the
tough to
worst
watch.
Super Bowl ever.
Great special teams game.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah. So I don't know. But I would probably say definitely coming out of the East, it would be between the three teams. I would say it's between San Fran, the Eagles, and maybe Detroit. I would say.
Yeah. And
Maybe
obviously the
Detroit.
Bears. Yeah.
Yeah, obviously
Yeah,
the
the
Bears.
Bears.
That's
Yeah.
undoubtable. But do y'all want to take a break here,
Yeah,
or
we could-
just continue going and
we
try
could
to
take a
and try to
break.
reconvene and see what we want to tackle
Fuck
next?
Jordan Love. Yeah.
Fuck Green Bay. Yeah, fuck Green Bay. Yeah, but the next thing I kind of want us to talk about is the college football game. College football 2025 or 25, whatever they're calling it right now, has been since the last game that was made was 2014, I believe. So it's been 11 years, 10 years, 11 years.
Yep.
Has any of y'all I know me and Dan got a chance to play the game sometime last week. FA, you got a chance to play the game as well?
Yeah, I played it.
How we feeling about it? How we feeling about the game?
I got two ways, good and bad. Good and bad. I have two perspectives on it. And
Okay,
what you want first, the good or the bad?
Yeah, whatever you
All
want
right,
to
so
choose.
the good part about it is, at least for fans and supporters of college football, it's a good way to kind of keep track of players and people that you may have not known, because in college football you kind of focus on the stars typically, but since you had a game and you had a whole roster, you kind of know who more players are. So I think as far as a fan and just people who are supporters of those athletes, like having them on the game, like I see a lot of the athletes post stories, like they'll post, hey, I'm playing with bro, like tag them in it, you know what I'm saying? So I think just building that community of supporters is good in that aspect. I really love seeing that. But the bad part for me is the gameplay. Like I really don't like the game, bro. I don't like it as far as because I'm more of a simulation kind of football player, as far as games go. So Madden is more simulation. I see college football is kind of more arcadey. Like the defense is very bad. Like you can't play good defense. So it's like to play a football game and the defense is messed up. I don't really like that. The movements, the animations are real arcadey. So it's like it's a fun game. Like I said, arcade fun. But as far as simulation and me sitting there, like I want to run a cover 3, cover 2, I want to blitz drops, like I want to do different things. It don't really apply how real life would apply. I think Madden is kind of closer to real concepts versus college football is more arcadey, which I get because more of the younger kids are going to play college football than Madden. So they want to kind of cater to the younger group. At least that's what I feel.
What about you, Dan?
Man, I hear about those. I got good and good though. And good for a similar reason though. I like to geek out on the rosters. I want to see what these dudes' stats were the season before. All right, is their overall going up during the season, right? As a fan, it just keeps you in tune with the national scene, right? All around, not just who's on the Heisman watch, not just who's a top 10 team, right? So that's definitely an advantage. But for me, I actually enjoyed the gameplay. See, I haven't really been a Madden fan for probably about 10 years now. I just suck at it, truthfully. Like, my 5th pick of the game, nice.
His point is the opposite of yours.
Exactly.
See, he doesn't like how realistic Madden is.
Right. So I'm a 2K head, right? I'm all about playing that on Hall of Fame. But when I come to Madden, I want to have a little success here, right? So the arcade style, it lets me have that big play. I threw a really dumbass interception last drive. But this drive, I just got a 70-yard touchdown because you just tripped and fell trying to tackle me.
Yeah.
And I love that.
That's the shit that make me have to buy a new TV.
I hear that. I mean, I think it's cool too. We actually got the names, right? It's not John Doe dropping back for a pass to
fake
Larry
generated
Johnson,
names.
right? So, some notable names I got on the top 10 of the rankings, right? We got Ollie Gordon, the second from Oklahoma State, a running back. You know, coming from a lineage of Oklahoma State running backs, you got Emmitt Smith, Barry Sanders, both very successful NFL running backs.
Adrian Peterson was from
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Good rushing state. You got Caleb Downs from Ohio State, transfer from Alabama. He was a freshman last year. So if you're playing at Alabama starting safety as a freshman for Nick Saban, you're probably pretty good, right? We also got Travis Hunter, the dual threat from Colorado.
Yes, sir.
Big time as well. Another one is Luther Burden III from Missouri, who's supposed to have a really revamped team. I've seen them in a top 10 rankings for some people. The offense is supposed to be electric.
Yeah, they had a great signing season. They signed a lot of top athletes in the country, so they're definitely making moves in the SEC for sure.
Yeah, I do like the game, the college football game. I haven't played games in general as much recently, but I do make sure I'm still in shape for the sports game. So 2K, Madden, and now college football now. And I do like the arcadey style of it. Like I do like how it's fun to play. You know what I mean? Like I know I can go to the college football game and have fun playing the game. The only thing that's kind of like, I mean, I guess it's kind of always somewhat been this way, but outside of that play style of arcadey, it just feels like Madden to me, if you want to be honest. Like it literally feels like, you mentioned the arcade style is not realistic, and you could put in Madden in arcade mode.
Yeah, you can.
But it feels like Madden, the play style, the however feel like
it's a little fast. It's like fast. It's really
fast.
It's really fast, bro.
It just feels like feels like Madden itself. We changed it to be in the college football player version. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know how NBA 2K has its NBA, but you can also play as WNBA teams? That's what college football feels to me. It feels like it's Madden, except we changed it to the college football play mode.
And I think that's the only way that they could have made the game. They couldn't have made it like Madden, because the college football game is faster than the NFL like version of football. Like, it's different. So that dynamic is totally different. The fans, the celebrations, everything is totally faster than the NFL, so they had to make it that way. Like that's I mean, but even outside of that, it just feels exactly like Madden. Like it feels like I'm playing Madden. Like sometimes, like when I was even playing you last week, Dan, I forgot we was actually playing like college football. I was like, oh damn, I thought we was playing Madden for a second until like I see like a mascot or something. And I'm like, So I mean, overall, I'm happy that the game is back because I miss the game. You know what I mean? I hope that they take the route of bringing March Madness back, the actual college basketball game, because that would be a whole nother dynamic. I think they're going to do is see the success of college football 25 and then decide from there, like, all right, is this worth like bringing back college basketball, or do we got enough fan love and sales and stuff and to keep it going? I think they will though. Yeah,
I think
they have to, because 2K is trash. So we need another basketball game.
So wait, which game would they bring back? Because as you know, it was two college basketball games. There was college hoops, that was 2K, but there was also March Madness, that was EA Sports.
I would imagine.
So which one would they bring back?
I would think EA. Well, who has the rights though?
Either one would have the rights because they're just two different.
EA has the business model now. They just paid what are college football rosters, 85, 100 players in that range. If they're able to make it happen by paying them, you can certainly find the money for 15 college basketball players.
Yeah, less people on the roster. Yep.
So, well, I mean,
they'll probably get paid. No, they probably won't get paid.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if because I mentioned the rights. I don't know who has the rights to the college teams, because like Madden, there can't be another simulation Madden game, like football game.
Really?
Like, yeah. It's like 2K can't make. That's why 2K hasn't made a football game with pro teams in it, because EA has the rights.
They used to.
Yeah, but they don't anymore. That's what I'm saying. So I don't think they can. I think EA has the rights to the NFL logos and players. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure how that works now, because they haven't made a basketball game. So who knows? But
if you have the money, my understanding is you can get the rights. But if another game already has that whole sector covered, right? Everyone's gonna go buy Madden. You make a new football game, no one's gonna buy your game, and you had to pay all those players money. just to use their name, image, and likeness.
Yeah.
True.
Might not be the best business decision.
Yeah, I think I would like to see March Madness come back because I never really played college hoops, but I played March Madness, and man, those one shiny moment, like intros for like every single game. Yeah, man, like
I think
that was the best.
The 2K engine for basketball, I think, is a little bit better.
Yeah,
like
it
EA,
is now.
NBA,
That's true.
NBA Live is like
Live died down.
yeah,
What
06,
caused Live to
08?
change? That was
I don't
crazy
know,
because
bro.
they used to be the
Yeah,
better
they was
than
the top.
2K.
Yeah, it was.
And then all of a sudden after like 09, it just got bad.
But I think it's because Live was like more of an arcadey game, but then 2K came out and it was more simulation. It was more of like, this is realistic. Like I'm playing it, the graphics got good. I think the Xbox 360 and then 2K with KG on it. What was it?
2K9.
2K9. I think that was the shift where it's like, oh, this looking like this kind of realistic. Like, and everybody went over to 2K, but I think the engine for basketball is definitely a lot better. I'd rather college hoops basketball and then the EA for football.
Definitely.
My preference.
Definitely. I want to bring it back to college football real quick. We don't got to harp on the topic too long, but as we know, this season of college football is a new style of college football playoff, or should I say an expansion of the college football playoff to 12 teams. Who do we think? What are some teams that we noticing? I know there's a lot of conference alignment too. I know we got Oregon, USC, is it UCLA, Washington? A lot of those teams joining the Big Ten. I know Texas and Oklahoma just left the Big 12 and now they're joining the SEC, which I felt like they should have did that like a while ago.
That's how I felt too.
I know there's only 2 teams left in the Pac-12. I can't remember the teams exactly, but I know there's only 2. Colorado just joined the Big 12. It's just a lot of movement that's happening.
Like,
How do we feel? What are some hot takes for this season? Anything? Who y'all think making it out of the college football playoff or anything?
I don't have a hot take. I just got Ohio State winning it all. It's,
Why?
Too much skill, too much depth. Like they're loaded. Like they probably as far as talent goes across the board, best in college football right now. Like so, we'll see. I'm curious to see how Michigan bounces back with obviously the coaching change and then win a national championship last year.
They had a really good team last year.
A lot of guys. So I mean, yeah,
returning a good running back.
And it's crazy that I don't see in a lot of projections Michigan isn't even like it's just completely gone. Like they didn't just win a national championship. So I'm curious to see how things.
I think a lot of their players got drafted though, right?
A lot of
their players
got drafted.
I think JJ McCarthy obviously got drafted to the Vikings. Their running back last year, what was his name? Something Corbin, but he got drafted to
running back of the year nationally.
So and they had a lot of players that got drafted. So
it's the Big Ten adding in Oregon, right? We have a lot of realignment going on, and that's what stands out to me, right? You got Oregon coming over from the West Coast. You got Washington, USC, UCLA, right? So Big Ten, coast to coast league. So is the ACC, SEC. And Big 12, right? Our Power 4, they're all coast to coast. Gonna take some getting used to, for sure. But at the moment, you have Ohio State, Oregon, you have Penn State, all in the top 12 with Michigan at 13. Now, I don't see 4 Big 10 teams. They're all gonna beat each other up. You're not getting 4 into the college football playoff, right?
You could.
You're gonna have a little bit of, I think,
right? I mean, like, because with 12 teams now, it's like, I feel like your record can be a little. You got a little more leeway with your record now. I feel like. What do you think?
2 losses and
I don't think so.
Like in the 12 in a 12-team spot though, because it's like 2 lost teams get like good bowl games. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like. How would y'all? And that's another thing that would change it though too. How are they going to do the alignment? I mean, not the alignment. How are they going to do the rankings now? Like, what's that going to play effect into like the record and stuff? Because I think the goal of the 12-team playoff was because now more teams could get in, even if they do lose more. That can be different too.
Not to mention your Boise States or University of Central Floridas of the past, who either had undefeated teams or one-loss teams. Their fans certainly thought they should be in the playoff. They didn't get the call because of the size of their team, the strength of their schedule. Now you're going to have at least one of those teams making it in, maybe a little Cinderella story as well. One sleeper team I do have, the Kansas Jayhawks. Unfortunately, I got to see them up close and personal last year, kick my Illini's ass to start the year. Jalen Daniels, a lot of talk about Shadir Sanders out there. I think Jalen Daniels might be every bit as good, maybe even better. He's fabulous. He's got Devin Neal, a top-tier running back as well, who's getting NFL looks as well to pair with him. So that offense is certainly nasty. We'll see if their defenses can hang though, right?
They got a pretty decent secondary though. They got some
the
good
kid,
corners.
the kid from Marion.
Austin Alexander is committed to Kansas, so he'll be there adding to that corner safety position. But yeah, so they I think what's the other? Is it Kobe Bryant? Or is it Kobe? With the corner from Kansas, I believe that's his name.
Anyone named Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, I think that's his name.
Yeah, I think the team that I think is probably has a very, very good chance outside of Georgia. I'm not going to forget Georgia right now. They're like the next Bama. But Oregon. I think they're going to get really, really hot very early, and especially playing in the Big Ten, they're going to have a lot of those tough games early on. And I think we may see them probably potentially get their first natty this year. I don't know. But everything also relies on health. So obviously our predictions is a little premature because the season hasn't started. Yeah. But I see Oregon, I think the preseason ranking, at least on the game, is they were number 4. So, yeah, I see Oregon really, really doing some damage because did they return a lot of players?
They traded Bo Nix, went off last year.
Yeah, Bo
top
Nix
tier QB, but they replaced him with Dylan Gabriel,
exactly.
who did great with Oklahoma.
Yeah.
You know, running back room, wide receiver room, both look stacked. But where they really improved is the line. Mm-hmm. And they need to. Coming over from the Pac-12, who's more of a finesse conference, you're coming to the Big Ten, right? We got the hogs in the trenches.
Yeah, you got to. You got to beef up them guys in the middle. Definitely got to beef up those guys in the middle. It just sucks that all these teams came to the Big Ten because now Illinois definitely does not have a chance in football. They don't have a chance at
You take away the divisions, right? They were hiding in the West Division, right? So you're going up against Wisconsin as your toughest bet. Your Iowas, right? You get the Patsy games, Northwestern, right? You get Minnesota in there. Now, hello, Michigan. Hello, Ohio State. And I can tell you I've been to an Illinois-Ohio State game before and an Illinois-Michigan game. And, well, I already don't want to talk about it anymore. So we're going to have a lot more of those games. I'm going to be going to the first game of the season every year now against a non-power conference team so we can actually have a chance to win. But, you know, Illinois has had some success recently, right? 2022, we had the number 1 scoring defense in the nation. Did stumble at the end of the year, I believe finishing 9-4. But a bowl game, right? Last year, we took a step back, right? Only winning 5 games, don't even make a bowl game. So this is Brett Bielema's 4th year coming out here, and it's kind of make or break at this point. These are his players that he's recruited. Can he get Illinois to that Wisconsin level that he had, right? Not saying Ohio State, but can we get to the Iowa, Wisconsin level, right? Make an appearance in the top 25. Make a bowl game every year. I think that's a realistic goal. They got a running back, Caden Fagan. He's going to be a sophomore. He's built like Brandon Jacobs on those old New York Giants teams. 6'3", 230 pounds. He can run. And you got Luke Altmaier, transfer from Ole Miss, who's been pretty good recently. And he looked all right. Now you pair that with Pat Bryant. He's been on NFL radars the last couple of years at the wide receiver position. And they're bringing in Zachary Franklin, also from Ole Miss. And he is the current NCAA leader in receiving yards. So that hasn't gotten a lot of noise. He was hurt last year. So we'll see maybe like the Bears, Illinois is going to trade defense for offense.
You'll see.
Man, I just wonder what it is about Illinois that like they have a tough time recruiting in this area, like in Chicago. Because I mean, even like you said with Wisconsin, they're getting commits from the city and from Illinois more than than Illinois is. Like they had Jamari Washington from Morgan Park is committed there. Dupree from Mount Carmel, the running back, he committed there. He'll be there. Kyan Berry from Bolingbrook, and these are all of the top rated guys from the area going to Wisconsin instead of Illinois. So I just wonder, as far as recruiting, like Like what is it? You know, what's the issue with Illinois? Is it just the history? Like if we go there, we know we probably won't win, or is it? I'm just curious.
I think
Like
the history plays a little factor because even we for a small time it was the same for basketball. It was like we got all this basketball talent instead of Illinois. Why aren't we retaining that? And I think basketball with Brad Underwood has definitely gotten it together. So I don't know. We probably just need that right person in there. You know what I mean? That right person in there to change that narrative, to change that perspective. So can't really say why, but I think once we get that right person in there to change that perspective, who knows? It could be different.
I thought that first step was like when Malik Elzy in 2023, he was the number 4 rated player in Illinois from Simeon, the receiver, and he's there now. And you know, just starting that trickle down, I figured it would trickle down more with, you know, athletes coming after seeing Malik do it. So I mean, I don't know, man, but I would love to see more Illinois guys at the top, you know, the top of that list commit to Illinois.
Yeah. One last thing, I know we got the dogs in the background, but one last thing. Just because this is the most popular team in college football, even if they're not the best, what do we think Colorado is going to be next year? What their season look like? I know last season didn't really go the way they wanted to, and they were very popular. And you know, but how we think them Buffaloes going to be?
Around the same.
I
don't think it'd be much of an improvement. I think it's around the same. It'll be around the same.
It's got some great star players, right? But how does their NIL compare to, you know, some of these other schools? NIL is king at the moment, and can you fill out the whole roster? You know, all right, you got Shadur Sanders, right? We got Travis Hunter, his name escaped me. Right, so you got some players, but offensive line, they have one of the worst in the whole nation last year, right? Shadur Sanders was running for his life.
Pretty bad.
He got
defensive line, not
50
much better.
times.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
So, like I said, back to the Bears point, I don't care how good you are.
Some
if you
guys
get sacked
in the
50
middle
times, you won't be good. I don't care how good the quarterback is, how good and they had some great receivers, some of the best in the country, you know. But what does it matter if you're getting sacked 50 times? You know, they'll still stand out, but you won't win many games.
I think Big 12 is adding Arizona State. Arizona's ranked top 15. The offense looks great. Jed Fish, I believe, just went to Washington from Arizona after he turned their program around. And a lot of the players didn't follow him to Washington. They stayed at Arizona. They're loaded. They got to go up against Utah, BYU, not to mention who was already in the Big 12, right? You got Oklahoma State still. So a lot of really good teams there. I just, you know, they'll be a really fun to watch 5-17.
Yeah, I agree.
Skull Buffs.
Yeah, I agree.
Hey, last year though, you was heavy
bro,
on the Colorado train. You was
bro,
saying like, man, they finna win the whole thing.
No, I was, bro. Definitely.
Yeah, so reality hit a little bit.
Yeah, definitely a little bit. You know, but we'll see though. Just improvements. They obviously got players in through the portal on the offense and defensive line. So I mean, yeah, improvements, but it's still a tough conference to play in, and they got some tough matchups. So. Yeah, I won't, you know, I'm not the delusional fan, you know. I'm just like, hey, it is what it is. But, yeah, I think they'll be average.
Can they make a bowl? Maybe.
Yeah,
you know.
They'll be average.
We'll see.
We'll see. Could be wrong.
All right. We're going to take a break.
ILL.
All right, gentlemen, wrapping it up for the last topics of the episode, we want to transition into high school sports, specifically in high school football. Right now, we in the preseason, and I was telling you, FA, this is probably the most excited I've been for high school football since I actually played, almost 10 years ago now.
10
so
years, bro.
The high school football season is about to be very, very, very live. I know we're going to cover a lot of the Northwest Indiana area and then also the Chicagoland area as well. First thing we want to get into is some preseason power rankings. We're going to start with the Chicago Public League Conference.
Yep.
And I'm going to let y'all get into that real quick.
Yep. So we starting with the Chicago Public League, and that, you know, the number one in our power ranking, we going to have Morgan Park High School. Morgan Park, man, they added a lot of pieces. They already had athletes. Coach James doing a great job over there, the staff. They added Nazir Rankin from Whitney Young, so that's another like one of the top athletes, not even just football, but he's a Division I basketball recruit also. So you add him to the roster. You have Marcus Thaxton coming back at quarterback. You got Jameer Washington at the safety position, corner. You got a lot of these athletes there at Morgan Park. You got some younger guys stepping up. So they're 10-2 record last year. Playoff loss to St. Francis, in the playoffs. So they had a strong year and they got better. So definitely, I would let's say number one, Morgan Park in our match.
They was really good last year too.
Yeah,
Thaxton, the QB, the only QB to throw for over 2,000 yards in the Chicago Public League too.
Yeah, he's gonna be a dog coming into next season because he's been on varsity, starting on varsity since his sophomore year. Yeah, he's gonna be a dog.
Yep. So then, and another person from Morgan Park that I want to highlight is Jacob Ware, which I feel he doesn't get as much recognition as the other guys because you got a bunch of Division I talent on that roster, but for him, he led the team in tackles. Over 100 tackles last season, and I think it kind of went unnoticed for me. So that's what stood out. When I was looking at their roster and looking at some of the stats, I was like, man, I haven't even heard about him. No, 24/7 Rivals, any of the the big publications really talking about him. So yeah, I watched this film and man, he can play downhill. Picks up a lot of the coverage as well. He does a lot of stuff well. So yeah, I definitely want to just show some love to Jacob where he's returning. He'll definitely be a very big contributor on that defense. So next we're gonna go. Our number 2 is Kenwood. So we have Kenwood Academy ranked number 2, and they're also returning a lot of great athletes. They've had coaching changes. So Seagoff is actually the head coach. If you're around Chicago and you know about cornerback training, Seagoff has been around for a long time. I remember training with Seagoff when I was in high school when he was back at Hale. So that's way back then. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, they're getting a great coach coming in to coach those guys up, but they're also coming off some great success. They won the Prep Bowl last year against Whitney Young, 8-5 record. So they'll be looking to build off of that. They did lose a quarterback, so they'll be looking to fill some positions there. But I still think they're good for number 2.
Yeah. We'll see if they can get over the hump. Pushing Morgan Park last year to 28-26, losing and falling short by 2 points. So they fared really well against the rest of the Chicago Public League, but got to get past Morgan Park, right? They're the Kings last year, and we're expecting them to do the same or even better this year. Number 3, we have Simeon. 6-6 record last year. Maybe doesn't look real promising on the outside, but a lot of changes have been going on at Simeon this offseason.
Yeah, definitely. So actually, I talked about Seagoff taking over at Kenwood. Well, Coach Turner from Kenwood is actually now at Simeon, and that's where he actually played ball. So he's returning, back home to coach that team up, and he has, some stars there. Christopher Burgess Jr., who's committed to Notre Dame. He's going to be a big key factor in that defense, like super dominant athlete. I was telling you guys, it reminds me of like a Myles Garrett as far as just his dominance, his pass rush, hand speed, you know what I mean, his get off it. He's just super good, disrupting a lot of the offenses. So Simeon definitely has some guys to work with. Have a quarterback that's returning that's pretty good. Got a couple receivers that are pretty good. So they have the weapons to definitely get back to those winning ways, definitely. So Simeon is number 3 on our public league power rankings. Next we'll have Whitney Young.
No, you good.
All right, yeah. So next power ranking number 4, we got Whitney Young. So Whitney Young is one of those teams that lost, a lot of pieces this year. Specifically, Nazir that we talked about at Morgan Park, who was the the superstar basketball football player, one of the best targets there at Whitney Young that they had. So they'll definitely have to replace some athletes there from that aspect. But they still, regardless, they had a 9-4 season last year. So I would curious to see how they do, come back, but just give them their respect just based off of things that they did last year. So we'll definitely see if they make a return to the Prep Bowl and, they get back to the ways that they had last year.
Yeah, a particularly weak strength of schedule for Whitney Young. 9-4, yes, but it's really going to be curious to see, can they hang with those other top dogs? Can they get into that upper echelon of that top 3? Simeon, Kenwood, Morgan Park. It's going to be fun to see.
Yeah, strength of schedule is important.
Definitely.
Yeah, go ahead.
Right on the outside of our top 5, we
Yeah.
do have Lane Tech. They played some a pretty tougher schedule compared to some of our other public league teams. They're giving some teams some really good games, but they have Noah Myra QB, dual threat QB. His measurables are great: 6'3", a hair over 200 pounds, runs a 4.6. 40, so he's got the speed too. And when you watch him, he's running away from the linebackers. He's running away from the edge rushers. Even some guys in the secondary, he can get a little razzle dazzle on. So exciting to see what he can do for Lane Tech, both on the ground and in the air. Maybe he gets them into the top 5 by the end of the year.
Yeah, definitely. Like he's one of, after watching film on a lot of these guys, he's probably one of my favorite players to watch. Just because how dynamic he is. How he had the season last year. He passed for 500 passing yards and rushed for over 500 rushing yards. So for me, it's like, man, seeing him be able to a true dual threat quarterback, and so he's probably gonna be one of my favorites to watch this year for sure.
Yeah, kind of reminds me of who's the Bills QB right now. The dual threat.
Why am I?
It's so
Josh Allen.
Yeah,
Josh Allen. Yeah, I'm like Josh Allen.
Yeah, Josh Allen for sure.
Yeah.
All right, so do we want to transition to the Chicago Catholic League now?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah. All right, so going into the Chicago Catholic League, who y'all got in the power rankings this season?
All right.
Number 1, big surprise, Loyola Academy.
Loyola is just like the top tier.
14 and
top.
14-0, winning the 8A state championship. 8A is the most difficult division, the biggest schools in Illinois. So we got them at number 1 with a couple of really good players returning for them as well.
Definitely a lot. One is Donovan Robinson, the linebacker, athlete. I'll just call him an athlete because more so than his linebacker play that stood out to me watching this film, it was his return, abilities. He had an amazing season doing punt returns and just showing, how dynamic he is just on the field in every position. Special teams is something that not a lot of guys really take serious, but a lot of pro guys make a career out of special teams. So it's just great seeing him do that also. But yeah, a dominant force. They have multiple Division I athletes. You know what I mean? Multiple. A quarterback is going to Iowa. I believe they have. I think they have 2 guys going to Iowa. But yeah, they just have a star-studded, roster all across the board. Secondary, safeties, linemen, quarterback, receivers, like they just have it all. So that's why you look at their schedule and you don't really see a blemish, just because they're just skilled all around the board. So yeah, nobody else could really have that number 1 spot because nobody is put a chink in their armor. So hey,
exactly.
Yeah.
They, like you said, they play a lot of the top teams. I think they even played Mount Carmel last year, like towards the end of the season. In that game, they even dominated. So Loyola always has been a team that's just been dominant ever since we was in high school, ever since I was a kid. I've never remember a time where Loyola wasn't dominant.
Yeah, well, we have them at the top, but if someone is going to dethrone them, it is going to be Mount Carmel, right? Historically, one of the best programs in all of Illinois, something like 15 state championships, going back-to-back recently, 3 out of the last 4 years. Donovan McNabb's alma mater.
Yeah, I forgot Donovan.
Yeah,
McNabb
I did too.
Yeah.
Man, I like them a lot. Lots of talent returning there too. They were able to push Loyola Academy a little bit last year, right?
Yeah.
We get 23-21 here. So hey, it's a 1 possession game. Anything can happen there. Well, that'll be really fun to see as well. Yeah,
and Mount Carmel, they graduated a lot of their top players, so I'm just curious to see who are those next guys stepping up into those roles. As you can see from Loyola, they're returning most of the players that they had last year.
That's
so
crazy.
You know what I mean? So I'm quite interested to see that. But
trust in Jordan Lynch, right? Shout out NIU.
Yep. All right, so then next in our power ranking, we have St. Lawrence.
St. Lawrence, yeah, they had a 10-4 record last year, and they pushed their season all the way to the 4A runner-up game. So lots of success, lots of postseason success especially, and their strength of schedule was extremely difficult. So yes, they did have 4 losses, but when you're going up against the likes of other Illinois powerhouses, that is bound to happen as well. Number 4, we have Joliet Catholic at 10-4. Joliet Catholic also a runner-up. You'll see a theme here. The Catholic League really had a special year last year with 3 different state champions and 3 different schools coming up runner-up as well. So Joliet Catholic making it all the way to the championship game where they lost to their rival, also in the Catholic League, Nazareth, who comes in at number 5 on our list at 9-5 last year. Nazareth was really interesting to me. They started the season 0-4, but yet they made it all the way to the championship and even pulled it through against Joliet Catholic and won. They returned Gabe Kaminsky, an absolute beast on the defensive line. This guy's burst right out of the gate is impressive. He gets his pads low, and he's just shredding through these offensive linemen, shuffling. He just looks like he's at a different athletic level. The Stanford commit is returning for his senior year, and we'll see if he can take him back to the title game.
Yep. And then so we have another athlete on our list. His team didn't make our top 5, but ICC, Dominic Hulek. Sorry if I pronounce your name wrong, but yeah, man, I watched his film, and he's another one of those dual threat guys. Is one of those guys that, like, man, he go out, line him up in a slot. I seen him run, corners. It doesn't have the finishing speed like a receiver does, but his playmaking is there. His catch radius is there. As far as tackling, coming off the edge, playing linebacker, like, he's definitely one of the top athletes that I've seen, and I believe he's ranked in the top 5 as far as athletes in the state of Illinois. So he's committed to Notre Dame. So Notre Dame gets another Illinois guy, one of the top Illinois guys. So as they continue to do. But yeah, definitely what stands out is definitely his offensive presence for ICC and the way he's able to separate at that size. Like, it's a mismatch, him in the slot against any strong safety or linebacker type. So yeah, he's definitely a dynamic player in the Catholic League for sure. Somebody to watch.
And they'll need him. This is their second season here, joining the Catholic League. Aurora Central Catholic, Immaculate Conception, and St. Francis all joining the league last year. Immaculate Conception and St. Francis enjoyed a lot of success right out of the gate in their first season. So we'll see, can they make that translate to year 2, and can they crack our top 5?
Yeah, definitely. With the Catholic League, the Chicago Catholic League, I think, in my opinion, just from what I experienced my whole life, following high school football in Illinois, Catholic League is probably, if not the best one in the state of Illinois. That got to be the best conference. And even when you mentioned the thing that I like with the last year that you mentioned with Nazareth starting the season off 0-4 and then riding that wave all the way up into a championship, hitting adversity early, and still ended up winning that chip at the end of the season. I think that's a good thing to pay attention to with Nazareth coming into this season. The next conference that we want to get into is the Duneland Athletic Conference. Who do y'all got in the power rankings for them?
All right.
Duneland was starting off here with Crown Point, the champions from last year, at 13-1 overall, 7-0. They were undefeated going in to the state finals game against Ben Davis, the Indiana powerhouse from Indianapolis.
Ben Davis, man.
Any players that you're particularly excited for this coming season?
Yeah, so we just got the chance to interview Noah Ehrlich, Crown Point quarterback. He's committed to Miami of Ohio, 14th ranked player in the state of Indiana. He's been playing there all 4 years, has made a great career. He expressed to us, the team is, kind of pissed off about the loss to Ben Davis, which you should be. So he's talking about all the guys are working hard. They're ready to get after it. I've been seeing a lot of footage on Instagram as far as like their training camps, summer camps, their preparation. So they're looking to make the other run. I don't think they see anything else but a state championship. They don't see anybody in the conference that's really in their way. And I'm sure Maryville has something to say about that. Valpo has something to say about that. But he's definitely going to be the guy. He is the guy at Crown Point.
I think Noah actually, this would be his second or third year at Crown Point. I think he was actually at a different school before then.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, because I seen it on his Instagram. I think he was at a different school.
Okay.
But
Hobart. He was at Hobart. He was at Hobart.
Yeah,
he was at Hobart.
But with Noah Ehrlich, like you said, we spoke to him at at the Indiana Media Day preps. And he seemed very, very locked in. We even asked him what was his biggest thing he's goal for himself going into the season. He said really just leading the guys, and that says a lot about his character. And then also, you know, his play on the field says a lot too. So
yeah. Also returning the all-time school rushing leader for a season, Larry Ellison, with 1,865 rushing yards last year. So they're coming at you two ways, right? They can sling it, they can run it on you too. Definitely going to be difficult. Also returning some key players, Trevor Gibbs, Lucas Szymborski, and Logan Rodriguez on the defense as well. So definitely tough. You know, one team I think really can make a push for them is Maryville, who went 10-3 last year, 5-2 in conference, yes. But, you know, we got them number 2 in our ranking. As they also are returning a few stud players.
Yeah, definitely have to point out John Peters, who's going to be their Travis Hunter in a sense.
Think so?
Yeah, definitely. He plays receiver and he plays corner, produces on both sides of the ball. Great athlete. He's a hurdler for track. He's a top hurdler in the state. So, yeah, he's really going to carry that explosive, dynamic offense and be able to make plays on defense, get them the ball back, be able to lock up the best receiver that any team has. So that's not just, only him. Jalen Ramsey is also another corner. Ironically, his name is Jalen Ramsey.
Really?
Yeah. So they definitely, they have the skill positions. They lost Dante last year, which is their quarterback. So I'm just curious where they go from there as far as who steps up and is that guy. So that's what I'll be looking out for the most. But the D-line is good. I think the secondary is good. O-line is good. It's just going to come down to that quarterback play for me, and that next guy steps up.
Definitely. So, second time losing in semi-state in 3 years. So can they get over that hump? They're going to have to beat some good teams to do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
At number 3, we have Valparaiso, second place last year in the conference, with a 6-1 record in conference, 9-3 overall. Also, we like a couple of their players returning, notably their kicker.
Yeah.
Their kicker, Drayden Wilcox, led the team in scoring and the DAC as a whole conference in scoring. So special teams, you get into some of those dog fights. It's a one-possession game. That can definitely come in handy.
Yeah, and it's just also good, always good to have that net, that fallback. Like, honestly, most high school football teams don't have a good kicker. So when you get into those fourth and goal, you're in a red zone and you need 3 points, you could just take your 3 versus going for it and turning the ball over. So it's just always a for sure way to get points on the board and not, leave a possession empty-handed. But not only that, they have Thomas Berta, the running back from Valpo. I mean, he dominated, the DAC, the best rusher returning to the DAC, 921 yards, 5 touchdowns. So I saw some summer camp film on him from some of his scrimmages, and it pretty much looks the same. Like he's going to pick up where he left off as far as dominating, running hard downhill, really putting points on the board for Valparaiso. So, yeah, Valpo is going to be Valpo. They're going to be disciplined. They're going to play good football. So they'll definitely be one of those top teams in the conference that's going to make that push and, challenge Crown Point for sure.
At 4 here, we got Lake Central. A bit of a down year last year. We're predicting them to rebound a little bit from their 5-6 record last year. Honestly, some of that is just historical, right? They're historically a better program than 5-6. And when you have as many kids they do, they're just a bigger school than the rest of these in the conference. They're over 3,000 kids. Some of these are closer to 2,000. So by sheer numbers, you think, okay, maybe we have a rebound year.
Yeah. And then also, I mean, their biggest thing is going to be filling that quarterback role because Chase, he transferred to St. Lawrence, actually. So the quarterback from Lake Central is at St. Lawrence. So they have to fill that, but they obviously have the skill positions. L.J. Richardson, who will be going into his senior year, he led the team in receiving yards, so he'll be playing big for them. They have safety Ryder Fernandez, who will be there also. So they definitely have the pieces. They have some edge guys, some linemen that are going to come back and contribute. So, yeah, for me, once again, one of those teams that's going to come back down to their line and the quarterback play in order for them to have that success that they need. So they definitely have the potential to, at least be mid of the conference, I would say.
Yeah, Lake Central, man. I mean, Catholic League got that reach, don't they? Like, because Lake Central, Chicago Catholic League, and they be getting players, man.
Bro, but I mean, when I'm at the gym out in Indiana, I see, people with MC stickers on their windows. And I've actually talked to a guy, his son plays baseball at Mount Carmel. And I'm like, man, y'all drive all the way, from out here. And, why am I drawing blanks here? Tristan is from Portage, and he takes train all the way to Mount Carmel. So it's just like that standard, that culture is worth it. It's worth the sacrifice of me driving an hour and a half to go to school. Like, it's just worth it. I know I'm gonna win, get a good education, go on to the next. Like, I know it's gonna happen, so I'm willing to make that sacrifice. So hey, man, if you rather go there than to your local school, then I don't know.
More power to you.
Yeah, more power to you. That's great for you.
The value of winning.
Yep.
Yeah. My bad. Then rounding it up to number 5, y'all. I kind of changed the subject.
No, you good.
5, Michigan City, the smallest school in the conference, went 6-5 last year, 4-3 in conference. We got a lot of love for them. Putting them in our top 5 is the smallest school though too. Losing Jaden Hart, a big part of their offense, to Syracuse University is gonna be tough. What do you like about the Michigan City team?
Man,
defense.
Yeah, bro. We got a chance to see them at a 7-on-7. They got their secondary is very good. They're young. They're young for sure. Actually, Jaden's the little brother is actually playing. He's a receiver. So he'll be looking to really, contribute a lot offensively to Michigan City. But yeah, they have all of the skill positions. They have all of the skill positions, and I think that their defense is definitely going to carry them. I think they'll have a good season. Coach French is doing a great job getting acclimated. He came over from Calumet. I see the progress, and I'm seeing them making, improvements to the team. So yeah, they should be really good this year, as they have all of the pieces that they need to be successful.
And there was some guys from Michigan City we was able to speak to.
Damon.
Yeah,
was able to talk to Damon.
Damon Thomas.
Yeah.
A couple of the guys was at the Indiana Media Preps Day. So, yeah, like you said, man, when we saw him, I think that was at, what was that, Munster? The 707, man, they had they was just strapping stuff. I think we posted. We got a couple of videos we posted.
Yeah,
on,
we did.
on Instagram. So their defense is definitely something that I'm looking forward for them to see, because I play DB
for sure.
Yeah, so that secondary is nice.
Some of their key players like Kyron Hart, Zaire McKinney, Adrian Hawley, which I know we covered a little bit. He's actually going to Kansas. The team, your sleeper team, he's going to Kansas. And Damon, obviously, we interview him. So yeah, they have on paper, they have every position filled, but it's just executing, and we'll see what type of season that they have.
Special shout out to LaPorte having the best mascot name, the Slicers. Big fan of pizza here. But we also really like RJ Carnes for them, a linebacker returning. Was the top tackler in the DAC last year with 97 tackles. The team was 2-8, so how much is that? Because the running back's breaking through the first line. Okay, maybe, but do want to shout out RJ Carnes as a tackler. Maybe he gets LaPorte into that top 5. Do you guys think, is this a race for second place, or can someone truly get Crown
I ain't gonna
Point?
lie, Crown Point is just a standard. Like even when you was interviewing Noah last week at Indiana Press Media Day, man, like they the standard. Like we was talking about it, they are the standard. How they work in the off season. They got that indoor. Then they got like an indoor field.
Yeah, indoor field. Yeah, like 50 yards indoor.
Yeah, man. So it's like, and then it seems like they got a great leader in a star quarterback, Noah Ehrlich. So I don't know, man. But I do, like you said, I do think the team that could give them a run for their money is Maryville. You know what I mean? But will they? Who knows? We're gonna see though. It's gonna be an interesting season to see. Man.
I believe the second game of the season. They got Maryville, so
to open up conference play, right?
Yeah, to open up. I think maybe the third game of the season, open up conference play is Maryville and Crown Point. So they'll set it off. So we'll see from there what it is gonna be. But
that's gonna be a game of the week for us.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, so, for sure. We definitely got to try to make our way to Crown Point to see that game for sure. So
yeah, definitely. So ending it off with the last conference power ranking that we're going to cover is the NW Northwest Crossroads Conference. Who do y'all have ranked in the preseason power rankings for this conference?
So we obviously have to start with our number one being Hanover Central, which has dominated, the conference pretty much, going undefeated. They were 11-1 last year, and they're just one of those dominant teams. It's like Crown Point, where they have the athletes, the coaches, they have everything they need to be successful. And so nobody's put a chink in their armor. Nobody's, beat them. So they have to be the definitive number one in this conference.
Yeah, they like you said, totally dominated conference play. 491 points for, 185 points against. They blew everyone out except Hobart, who comes in at number 2 in our ranking, who they only beat by 5. So, if someone's going to give them a run, 7-3 Hobart from a year ago, who also dominated conference in their own right with a 5-1 record.
Yep, and then also losing some key pieces though. Hobart, TJ is graduating. Johnny is gone, the quarterback, the receiver. So those are like the big time playmakers. Willie will be back. The running back is coming back. So they are returning some pieces. They got some linemen that are pretty good defensively. So they didn't lose too much. But I mean, the core of that offensive power is gone with Johnny and TJ graduating out. And Hanover Central having Caden, the running back who leads the Crossroads with 1,743 yards. So he's really like a machine running. Yeah, so I would imagine that would probably be their toughest test. But to be completely honest, I think Hanover just runs away with the conference for sure. I don't see anybody really get testing them this year.
It'll be fun to watch that game. Is Caden Verrett, the running back for Hanover, so successful last year, going up against Hobart's star player Maurice MacArthur, a defensive tackle. So who will win that run game, run defense, or the rushing offense? The top returning sack leader from a year ago.
Yeah, I think a great thing that you pointed out for Hobart is they lost 2 key players, especially on the offensive side, with TJ Caldwell going to Valparaiso, and then Johnny, he's going over to Bowling Green, right?
Yep.
So those are 2 important key players, I think, for their team, their offense specifically.
Yep.
Yeah, number 3, we have Kankakee Valley. From 5-6 a year ago, they did struggle a bit in conference at 2-4, but they were giving these really good teams, a close game. So maybe if they're able to flip a few of those results from losing by a touchdown to winning by a field goal, maybe we see them poke their head in the top 2 of this conference. What do you like about Kankakee Valley?
Well, starts with their quarterback, Diego Arroyo, senior quarterback. He led the Crossroad in passing yards, 1,359 passing yards. So obviously, he has some weapons there. He has some receivers that he can get the ball to. But yeah, they just have to, try to come back from that 5-6 record. If they want to compete, beating Hobart, beating Hanover is definitely the goal for them. But yeah, so I don't know how many guys that they lost that were seniors, how many guys they have returning. But yeah, it's definitely going to be all on quarterback Diego Arroyo for sure.
Nice.
All right, so then at number 4, we got Lowell. We have number 4 Lowell, who went 4-6 last year, 3-3 in conference. Got a chance to work with the quarterback there at Lowell, Brody. So they have some guys there also, but they just one of those teams that need to, try to get over the hump, going 4-6 last year. Couple key wins. They'll probably looking to, compete against Kankakee, Highland, try to get some of those type of wins before really trying to get, to Hobart and Hanover.
Notable for them, they will be battle tested as they enter conference play. They're starting the year against Crown Point at Crown Point, and then they face LaPorte and West Lafayette before they start with Hanover Central. So not a very easy slate to start the year, but at the very least, they will be ready for the competition on the back end of the schedule.
Like you said, they will be battle tested very, very early, so we're going to see.
Yeah.
Definitely going to see.
Yep, and then at number 5, we got Highland. So Highland came in 4-7 last year, only getting 1 conference win last year. But yeah, so they right now they're returning. Let's see, they're returning Samaj Kirk, is a key player, linebacker, running back. They actually ran for 1,500 rushing yards last year, 144 yards a game, which is pretty good rushing. I will see that they probably need a little bit a better quarterback play. As Blake, who was their senior quarterback, he is graduating, so they're gonna need a quarterback to fill that position. Some more weapons, if they really want to compete in this conference. But yeah, so yeah, we'll see what type of season that they have this year.
Definitely. Is there any other players in that conference that some honorable mentions that y'all want to?
No, two Andrean players. I know Andreans, if we had an honorable mention slot for this conference, they would probably get it as a as they had an up and down year last year, but they do return some star players. So cornerback James Finley, the 31st ranked athlete in Indiana. So bolstering a strong secondary. They're going to need it as they go up against, Diego Arroyo from Kankakee Valley, and also safety cornerback Jaden Holmes, who led the conference in tackles from a year ago. So we'll see if that defense in secondary and Andrean gets them into some relevancy and they can compete at the high end of this conference.
Yeah, and the thing with Andrean is they're just super young. Their team is really young, so they have a lot of adapting to do, and they have pieces around the field, but it's just the meshing everything together, like I said, with those young guys. So, Andrean definitely has some work to do, but I can definitely see in the next year or two them bouncing back and getting back to, what Andrean used to be, winning state championships and different things like that. So, yeah, we'll see what type of season they have and definitely update according to how they play this year.
Well, when was Andrean's last state championship? Was that with Drake Bowen's year?
Yeah, Drake Bowen. So 2022, 2023,
okay.
I think that year.
So yeah, they probably bouncing back. They just rebuilding, trying to come back to the promised land.
Yep.
But outside of that, I know that wraps us up for most of the conferences. Was there any last thoughts with the high school football season coming up that you guys want to speak about, get into, maybe?
No, I think we pretty much covered a lot of the conferences here. And I guess as the season, starts to, start up and we get different stories and different guys from around the state, we kind of touch on, different conferences and different play around the area. But yeah, this is just what we have for now as far as our own personal rankings.
Definitely.
2 weeks to go. Excited to update these rankings and see where this season carries them. And, game of the week.
Yeah, 100%. 100%, man. Like I said, this has been the most excited I've been for high school football since I was actually playing. Obviously, we're doing it from a reporting standpoint and a media standpoint, but man, like high school football it seems like it doesn't really, really, truly, fully get covered in the new age media way. And I wonder why. So, but at least we going to be doing our due diligence of following a lot of these conferences. I know there were some conferences that we didn't cover, so maybe we may get them in the next episode as far as preseason power rankings, like the South Suburban Conference and some other conferences as well. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this high school football season, especially in Northwest Indiana and the Chicagoland area as well. So outside of that, is there any last thoughts as far as anything that we covered this episode that we want to give some piece on? I know this episode was a lot longer than normal, but we went over a lot of things. We talked about the Olympics, you know what I'm saying? We talked about the NBA preseason, got into some local sports with Chicago Bears, Chicago Bulls. That be paining us. We even got into a little bit of college football talk. So yeah, this episode it featured a lot of things. We got to cover a lot of things, but I know moving forward with a lot of the other episodes, we're gonna kind of try to follow that structure. I know Dan is a new face. I want to introduce him again, Danny G. Danny G. He's gonna be joining the platform with us. He's gonna be covering a lot of the helping us cover a lot of the high school sports, along with some of the professional things, professional sports and things that's going on, professional and things like that. So. Any last thoughts before we close this out, y'all?
Nah, man.
Man, you need to have more faith in the Bears. That's all I'm finna say.
Oh my goodness. We gonna see. We gonna see.
But yeah, man, this to wrap it out, this is the off-season podcast, episode 23. Man, like I said, I can't wait to see everything that's going to be happening, everything that we're going to be covering. We still definitely going to be getting out to a lot of the high school football games, a lot of game of the weeks. I know Crown Point and Maryville is going to be one of the game of the weeks that we want to eye, but definitely a lot of these Catholic League games as well. So yeah, excited for the high school football season, excited for the college football season, excited to see, the U.S. Team USA dominate in the Olympics. We already know that's going to happen, but who knows? You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe somebody might give them a run for their money. And then Hard Knocks coming up with the Chicago Bears. Definitely going to be talking about that a lot. And then Bears got a preseason coming up this Thursday, August 1st. So definitely going to talk about that as well. And then anything else that comes up, we're going to just make sure we're covering it, talking about it, maybe have some mid-season power rankings after some teams play each other, get some conference play in. And we're going to see how the season is shaping out for a lot of these teams that we talked about along with the players. So outside of that, this is Off-Season Podcast episode 23 featuring Trey, myself, Danny G, and F.A. And we signing off, man. Peace.